Everybody ready? Yes. Yep, ready? Good evening. Hey, Kurt. Are we here? Good evening and welcome to the September 17th, 2019 Lawrence City Commission meeting. And we'll begin with our first item, which is to approve the agenda. The City Commission reserves the right to amend, supplement, or reorder the agenda during the meeting. Is there any commissioner that would like to have the agenda reordered?
Move to approve the agenda. Second.
A motion by Commissioner Boley, a second by Commissioner Herbert. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. I might add that Commissioner Nanda couldn't be here tonight due to family situations. So we'll go to item B, which is to have some recognitions and proclamations, and we'll start off with a recognition of our Eutin, Germany student delegation, which is Eutin is our sister city in Germany, and we've got Bill here tonight to kick this off.
Dankeschön, Frau Bürgermeisterin. Well, you want me to continue in English?
You do whatever you want to do, Bill. You're live on TV, by the way.
I'm here representing Sister Cities Lawrence and the Friends of Eutin, and we're very, very happy that we're able to celebrate the 30th anniversary of our sister city relationship with Eutin, Germany this year. And as you know, in a couple of weeks, there'll be a delegation headed by their mayor arriving in Lawrence for about a week of celebratory events, and we look forward to that very much. It'll be a busy time. But we're here tonight to recognize the 30th group of high school students from Eutin, from their two high schools, the Weber Schule and the Johann Heinrich Voss Schule. I'm very, very pleased to recognize also our two high school German teachers in Lawrence, Arne Scholz, why don't you wave, Arne, and Tom Lipp. Arne is at Lawrence High and Tom is at Free State. Next summer, Tom Lipp will be taking our students to Eutin. And how many summers have you done it in a row, Arne? 4, 5? 5. Arne has been doing it for 5, so he needs a summer off, or maybe 2. But we're very happy that they're making that commitment for our young people in Lawrence. And by the same token, happy that Thomas Dressler from the Johann Heinrich Voss Schule in Eutin is making the commitment for the 4th time to bring students from Eutin, Germany, to stay in Lawrence for several weeks, attend school, and live with host families. So I'd like to introduce Thomas, who has a few words to speak.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much, Bill.
All right, Bill, you've nearly said everything I wanted to say. But anyway, dear Mayor Larsson, dear members of the Lawrence City Commission, ladies and gentlemen, we, the Eutin students and me, the chaperone of the group, are here today to express our gratitude for the hearty welcome we've received and to let you know how much we appreciate being part of today's meeting here in Lawrence City Hall. For me personally, this is, as Bill already said, the 4th visit to Lawrence on the exchange program, and I can tell you that I've enjoyed every single stay very much. The first one was in 2002. It was a very special one, as it was in the wake of 9/11. And actually, we wanted to travel on September the 13th, but after what had happened, parents were just too scared to let their children travel. So we had to postpone the trip, and that's what we did, to March 2002, which was good insofar as we all experienced what the March Madness at KU and all over Lawrence is like. Then I was here again in 2007 and 2011. Both were years in which I had the pleasure to cooperate with Stuart Bowley, who in 2007 accompanied Graham Krieger and me to Chicago, and again in 2011 when we did that together. But I think this year's stay surpasses in a certain way all the other stays, as it takes place in a very special year, and this is the year 2019, and as Bill already said, the year of the 30th anniversary of the Lawrence Eutin sister cityship, the year in which we commemorate 3 decades of friendship and exchange programs between our sister cities. And only about 3 months ago, we were happy to host the American high school students as well as a group of KU students in Eutin. In addition to that, the very meaning of the sister cityship became obvious and was confirmed by the Lawrence delegation led by you, Mayor Larsen. And I do recall the reception at the Torhäuser in Eutin as a very friendly and emotional event in which numerous protagonists who have had their share in the development of this close friendship between the people in Eutin and Lawrence highlighted and confirmed the very special character of the relationship between our two cities. And it won't take long before the Eutin delegation will arrive here in Lawrence, and by their visit, again, strengthen the bonds between our two cities. We, however, the students and me, we have already arrived, and that's why we consider ourselves as a sort of trailblazers. And as such, I'd like to thank some of the people who, in one way or the other, have supported our visit. I do know that many have been involved, but I guess that mentioning them all, especially looking back over the years, would take too much time. So I'd like to mention you, Mayor Larsen, as well as the whole City Commission. And I would like to thank the Sister Board for their support of our visit here. Moreover, I'd like to express my thanks to the two high school teachers we've been introduced to already at Free State High and Lawrence High School, Thomas Lipp, who will be in Eutin next year, and my special thanks to Arne Scholz, who has for 5 years, as I've just heard, been coordinating the exchange, staying in touch with us German teachers, finding host families, pairing students, organizing outings, making appointments, hosting guests himself, and. So, Arne, you've been doing a great job. Thank you very much. And last but not least, I would like to express my gratitude to all the host families for taking responsibility for the German students, who all are still minors, providing them with everything they need and for making them feel at home. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, our students would briefly like to introduce themselves, and I would like you to come here and to briefly say who you are and where you stay or where you're living. Come on. Perhaps this is a good thing. Zoe.
Hello, my name is Zoe Hurker. I'm 16 years old and I'm staying with Annabeth Johnson and her family. I want to thank my family for letting me stay in their house and being so nice to me. My favorite part about Lawrence is the people. They are all so nice and open-minded. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kjelden Hahn. I'm from Germany, obviously, and I really like Lawrence. It's a great place. Everyone is just so nice, and I also want to thank my host family, and yes, they're just so nice. I can't believe how nice everyone is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Pascal Sagau. I'm 16 years old. I'm staying with Joseph Burkhardt and his mother. And I'm really thankful for being a part of this exchange, because it's a great chance to get to know the American lifestyle, the American high schools and stuff like that. And I got to know all these nice people.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lovis Schulze. I'm 16, and I just want to thank my host family. I'm very grateful that they made my start here so easy, and props to the Bodies. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yannick Lindemann. I'm staying with Tanis, and I want to thank Tanis and his whole family to enable this great stay for me. And of course, the two of the teachers, Arne and Thomas, for the organizing of the whole exchange. And I want to thank all of you because this is like a dream for me to be in America.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Jasper Stöckel, and I'm staying with Caleb Ordyway, and I would like to thank him and his family that I have a really great time here.
Thank you.
I'm Luca Peter, and I'm staying with the Hamiltons, and I'm really thankful that I can stay with them. And my favorite part about Lawrence is obviously downtown, and America has been so great so far.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charlotte, and I'm staying with Gabby, and I would like to thank my host family for being so nice and doing such a great job at hosting me. And I'm so grateful to be in Lawrence, and it has been a great time so far.
Hello, my name is Lara Bögelsack. I'm staying with Tate Maculatos and her family. I couldn't be more thankful for them hosting me. Yeah, I like Lawrence so far, and I'm eager to get to know it better.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Selina Evas. I'm 16 years old, and I want to say thank you to my host family. They're so nice to me, and they show me the real American lifestyle. And yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Nela Petersen. I'm 16 years old, and I'm staying with Alexandra Decker and her family. And yeah, I'm so in love with Lawrence, and I'm so grateful for all those who made this exchange possible for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it? All right. Well, thank you very much for coming in, and enjoy your stay. No, and just enjoy your stay, and I hope you have an opportunity to.
You want to bring him up and do a pic?
Oh yeah, we want to do a picture, Porter.
That's why we got to do this, right? All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, kids.
Yes.
Thank you.
So glad you're here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dankeschön. All right, we'll let them leave. Get out of the building.
Can't believe we almost missed the bit. This camera.
It's either like I'm perched or I'm like,
We're lying down. Shut the doors. All right, we'll continue on with the proclamations. Our next proclamation is the 100th year anniversary of the Waldorf education. So is there somebody here from the school to speak?
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for acknowledging the 100th anniversary of Waldorf education. My name is Kevin Fullerton. I'm serving as the current board president for Prairie Moon Waldorf School. And today we actually have in the room a few of our previous board presidents, Jeff Kennedy, Rick Mitchell, Eric Westlander, and Jennifer Nanda is usually here. She's actually a previous board president as well. If there's anybody else in the room from Prairie Moon, can you raise your hand?
All right.
So originally founded in Stuttgart, Germany by Rudolf Steiner and Emily Molt, the Waldorf education movement is now international with over 1,000 schools in 60 countries. The Waldorf Association of Lawrence was founded in 2001 and established the Prairie Moon Waldorf School in 2005. Prairie Moon Waldorf provides classes from early childhood through the 8th grade. Our early graduates are now in colleges and universities and are contributing in many positive ways using the foundational education they received at Prairie Moon. That includes the introduction of world languages in the first grade, an integrated curriculum of academics, fine and practical arts, sports and games, gardening and nature-based activities with a special emphasis on the development of social skills and healthy community building. We are proud of our generous faculty who carry out this curriculum and inspire our children every day, and we are proud to be members of the Worldwide Association of Waldorf Schools. And finally, we're especially honored to be in Lawrence, Kansas, a community that values education and has always been home and to those with a creative pioneering spirit. Now I would like to turn it over to one of our recent alums, Annika, to share with us a little bit of her experience with Prairie Moon.
Hello, I'm Annika Maximov. I recently graduated Prairie Moon last year, 7th grade. First off, I'd like to say a huge thanks to Prairie Moon for giving me this incredible opportunity. It's amazing that we can have a Waldorf school in Lawrence and give so many kids these amazing opportunities to learn more. The first thing that Prairie Moon offers is really tight bonds and friendships. My class was together for 8 years, starting from 1st grade. It was a combined class, so it was 1st and 2nd grade, all the way up into 7th and 8th grade. And there's so many amazing people there, and it's amazing to be able to learn with them and to grow up together and see how, so I'd like to thank my school for that. Also, our school offers lots of different education our school teaches lots of things like handwork and woodwork that you can't learn at other schools, and I think that's really important to know because it can help with lots of other things in life. For example, I'm at a different school now, and I never thought that knowing how to draw perfect circles would help me, but it has a lot actually, and some people coming to the school would think that our education system is like different and doesn't teach it completely, but being at a new school now, it actually has helped me learn even more and understand more things. And yeah, I remember, here's a little story. I remember whenever I would get sick, just crying because I wouldn't be able to go to school because I loved it so much. And I think that equating learning to fun is the most important thing in any education system. And I really like our philosophy, and I think that lots of other kids would like it too. So thank you to Prairie Moon for letting me have this opportunity. Also, thank you to Mr. Schott, my old teacher, and to all the students and faculty that helped me learn.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll read the proclamation now. Whereas September 19th, 2019 marks the 100th anniversary of the founding of Waldorf education, and whereas Waldorf education was established by Rudolf Steiner for the purpose of social renewal by cultivating human capacities and service to the individual and society. And whereas Waldorf schools in the 2019-2020 school year will be celebrating 100 years of Waldorf education through ecological and community engagement activities. And whereas Lawrence's Prairie Moon Waldorf School was opened in 2005 and now serves approximately 70 students from early childhood through junior high. And whereas the City of Lawrence recognizes and celebrates the unique educational experience and contributions to the community offered by the Waldorf education movement. Now therefore, I, Lisa Larson, Mayor of the City of Lawrence, Kansas, do hereby proclaim Thursday, September 19th, 2019, as the Waldorf Education's 100-year anniversary in the City of Lawrence. Thank you very much. Okay, our next proclamation is to proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Is anybody here? So I'll go ahead and read the proclamation. Is there somebody here to speak of that? Okay, good.
Yeah, I just got lost in my
Okay. Yeah.
Did you want to read that first?
No,
or-
go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Have you ever had a favorite blanket? It might get a little old, but it's familiar and comfortable. The Constitution is like your blankie. A little worn around the edges, but sturdy enough to withstand the test of time. It keeps us secure. My name is Diane Meyer. I'm the regent of the Betty Washington chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution. I am joined by our chapter registrar, Sherry Johnson. The objectives of the DAR are to educate, preserve, and celebrate America. We are a nonprofit, non-political, and volunteer women's organization. Our chapter is named after the sister of George Washington. We meet on the third Saturday of the month at 10 a.m. at the American Legion. And our meetings are open to the public. You are all invited. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll go ahead and read the proclamation now. Whereas it is the privilege and duty of the American people to commemorate the 232nd anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America with appropriate ceremonies and activities. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Lisa Larson, Mayor of the City of Lawrence, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. And with the Betty Washington chapter of the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, in celebration of Constitution Week, we ask all citizens of Lawrence to study the Constitution and reflect on the privilege of being an American, with all the rights and responsibilities with which that privilege involves. Thank you very much. Okay, we're done with our proclamation, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda. I might just add that there has been one item on the consent agenda that we are deferring in case there's anybody here wanting to hear that, and that's on the Plan 2040. We are deferring that till October 1st. So at this time, does any commissioner want to remove anything from the consent agenda for further discussion? No?
We could point out that there's a second item that was previously deferred as well. It's C9B, the bikes plan.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see that here. Okay. I didn't
so,
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that item has also been deferred until October 15th. Okay. So any items that anybody wants to remove?
No.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to see something removed from the consent agenda to be discussed further? Okay. Let's ask for a motion.
Move approval of the consent agenda, including claims.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Boley, second by Commissioner Herbert. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay, now we're going to move on to general public comment. The public is allowed to speak to any items or issues except those scheduled on the consent agenda or regular agenda portions of the agenda after first being recognized by the mayor. Each person will be limited to 3 minutes for public comment. As a general practice, the commission will not discuss or debate these items, nor will the commission make decisions on items that presented during this time. Rather, they will refer the items to staff for follow-up if necessary. Individuals are asked to come to the microphone, sign in, and state their name and address. Speakers should address all comments and questions to the commission. So are there any, anybody want to discuss anything regarding that's not on the agenda? Come on up.
Do I fill out this?
Yeah, just go ahead and state your name.
Okay. All right. I'm Morgan Orozco.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I start?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Hello, members of City Commission. My name is Morgan Orozco, and I'm Vice Chair of the Kansas High School Democrats. I've come to speak on behalf of my organization regarding the problems with pedestrian recycling downtown. So our first and primary concern, after speaking with Solid Waste Administrative Office member Kathy Richardson, is that the bins we are currently using for pedestrian recycling are not being used for the purpose of recycling. Often people mistake the bins for trash and throw away non-recyclables in what is intended to be recycling. This is simply due to a lack of differentiation between trash and recycling downtown. This can be solved by replacing the bins with bins that people can easily see are recycling. We have researched such bins and found multiple we think would be effective in solving this problem, with prices as low as anywhere from $200 to $500 per bin. Another concern that Richardson expressed is that sometimes people don't know what can and cannot be recycled. Often near coffee shops or pizza restaurants, items that have contaminants on them are recycled, or plastic cups that can't be recycled are thrown into the recycling. However, this simply could be solved by either buying recycling bins with images on them of what is and isn't recyclable, or simply putting pictures on the bins, as often pictures are more eye-catching than text, and people will be more willing to pay attention to that. Studies show that people more easily remember visual images over actual text that they have read. So additionally, replacing the pedestrian recycling bins downtown wouldn't have to cost that much, simply due to the fact that the bins are a lot larger than they need to be. After speaking with Richardson, we learned that there really aren't that many recyclables that one can purchase in the downtown area. Thus, buying smaller bins would be more cost-effective and more tailored to the needs of the downtown area. Finally, making sure that the few recyclable items that are actually sold downtown gets recycled should be a priority to the city. Although replacing the bins would cost money, we cannot provide an absolute guarantee that it would eliminate 100% of all trash that gets thrown into recycling. It is regardless a step in the right direction to do something that will help our environment. We live in a world in which we can no longer ignore the imminent issue of how humans have continued to destroy our planet. And by replacing the bins downtown, you as our local government are helping our community move towards being even more environmentally friendly, which in our current society should be a pressing priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Any other general public comment? Come on up.
So do I sign in here? And
You
then
go ahead and sign in there and state your name.
My name is Lyle Griggs. Address as well?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
1717 West 7th Street.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay, so hello, my name is Lyle Griggs, and I am also on the executive board of the Kansas High School Democrats. And I'm just here today to elaborate and continue what Morgan just brought up, specifically to emphasize the role that better public recycling bins could play in reducing contamination downtown, because that's a problem that we've been facing in the past few years. So to preface, it is crucial that we improve our recycling infrastructure now more than ever. Amid significant threats to the market for recycled materials, many U.S. cities have canceled their recycling programs or limited the extent of their recycling mandates. I dearly hope that Lawrence does not follow suit, and hope that the City Commission works to make recycling a priority in the coming years. As Morgan said, better labeled recycling bins could help increase public awareness of recycling contamination. On the local and national level, contamination, whether by food residue or non-recyclable products that are inadvertently or intentionally thrown in bins, it has contributed to a disheartening rise in the amount of waste generated by recycling facilities. Simply put, contamination has forced facilities to throw away significant amounts of waste received, and Lawrence has failed to buck this national trend. In 2016, the Lawrence Journal World reported that the local recycling facility, specifically the ham material recovery facility, had been forced to send significant amounts of waste to the landfill near town. According to that article, contamination of recycling bins downtown was one of the primary contributors to this issue and to the increased amount of waste that the ham facility was throwing out. So clearly some change is necessary to combat this increased contamination. So installing better, more clearly labeled bins, that's definitely no panacea. It's not going to solve every aspect of this issue or eliminate the problem, but it would at least help the city improve, and it would at least be a step in the right direction. And I think that it's a step that the commission should take. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lyle. Any other general public comment?
Hi, I'm Chris Flowers, and I just want to say they make a good point. I didn't even know that we had recycling bins downtown. So, I mean, if there was better labeling on the trash cans, I think it would increase public awareness. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other general public comment?
Dan Dannenberg, 2702 University Drive. The ongoing war against neighborhoods has been quite successful in recent weeks. There has been piles of debris stacked out by curbs, and these are rental properties. So I know the rental properties do have a special place in the hearts and minds of the city government of Lawrence. And these piles don't just sit there for a day. They sit there for a week or more, and it just is terrible to look at. And sometimes people come along and root through them and scatter them around, but that doesn't make any difference to you. You're owned by the residential rental property owners, and soon Commissioner Herbert can launch his full-waged campaign against neighborhoods. So I think we need to set up a system whereby when a rental property, it's a business, puts out trash that doesn't fit in the recycling bin or the trash cart, that they should be billed to have that removed by the city, or they should pay to have it carted away to a designated area where it's out of the neighborhoods and it's out of the general place where it was. I saw one instance where a pile of debris was left there for at least 2 weeks and nothing happened. And then I saw another instance where a recycling bin that was overfilled was there for 2 weeks. It wasn't empty because they put it out at the wrong time and there was too much stuff in it. It was way overfilled. So we have this ongoing problem, but we know it's not going to be solved because the rental property owners run the city government, and that all I can do is come up here and gripe and complain. I have no other alternative. Nothing's going to be done. We have decided that we're going to run neighborhoods into the ground with what I call RRPs, ratty rental properties, and their owners.
Any other general public comment on items that are not on the regular agenda? Yeah, you can go ahead and come up and do that. Any other general public comment? All right. Craig, could we have somebody look into the recycling downtown? I appreciate it. I know we've been working on some of that for restaurants and so forth.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. So we'll move on to the regular agenda. Item number 1, conduct a public hearing to consider approving a catalyst incentive package for U.S. Real Estate Holdings And consider adopting resolution number 7297, a resolution of intent to issue industrial revenue bonds not to exceed $15 million and grant a 10-year 50% or 70% property tax abatement for Phase 1 and 2 development in Block C, Lot 3 in Lawrence Venture Park.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Britt Krumkano, City Economic Development Administrator. Tonight you are considering a request for a participation from U.S. Engineering into the Catalyst program. I'm going to allow the development team as well as the ownership team to lead off this conversation and kind of introduce you to their project as well as the company. And then I'll follow up afterwards with a recap on the Catalyst package as well as the program. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Dan Jensen, who is the developer for the project.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Dan Jensen. I am with Kessinger Hunter Commercial Real Estate Company in Kansas City, 2600 Grand Boulevard. We are the developer for the project, working with U.S. Engineering. We have the intent of creating a project, a first-class manufacturing facility in the new park that will be 100 to 125,000 square feet and expandable to 150,000 square feet. We don't have any pretty pictures to show you right tonight because we're still in the process of designing it, but the process is moving forward, and we are confident that we will meet or exceed the city's and the park's covenants and requirements. What I'd like to do at this point is introduce the company to tell you a little bit more about the company and the jobs they're going to create. I'll be introducing Tyler Notberg, the chairman and CEO, and Brendan Riddle, the CFO and corporate counsel for U.S. Engineering.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Tyler Notberg, and I'm the Chairman and CEO of U.S. Engineering Company Holdings. We have a PowerPoint here that we can bring up. So some of you may or may not know U.S. Engineering. It was wonderful to see all the exchange students from Germany. Our roots date back to Germany in the 1850s, a little bit further south, but Cologne, Germany. And even though I gave a presentation 15 years ago at one of our holiday parties that lasted 2 hours on the history of the company, don't worry, you're not in for that treat this evening. But I would briefly like to say that when my family moved from Germany to the United States back in the late 19th century, we settled in Kansas. We settled over in Strawberry Hill and downtown, just west of downtown Kansas City, Missouri, in KCK, and eventually opened up a metalworking shop in Kansas City in 1893 that evolved into U.S. Engineering. And for those of you who don't know anything about U.S. Engineering, we're a mechanical construction firm. We have a holding company underneath which there are 5 different separate organizations. Our construction company, which is focused primarily on construction in the major markets where we have headquarters. Our service company, which is primarily focused on preventative maintenance and facilities management. U.S. Engineering Innovations, which has unique delivery methods for construction services all around the United States and beyond. Our real estate company, which was mentioned a little bit earlier. And then Metalworks. And Metalworks is the company that we're going to be talking about with regard to the project this evening. So as you can see, we've got all these various companies that we are engaged with trying to manage. And in Kansas City, we currently have a facility for Metalworks, which we've had for approximately 6 or 7 years. It's about 80,000 square feet, and it's allowed us to really do a whole lot of work fabricating off-site a lot of the mechanical systems that we help design and install. And again, for those of you who aren't familiar with mechanical construction, essentially it's everything behind the walls and in your bathrooms. It's all the plumbing, it's the piping, it's the HVAC systems. So we literally employ pipe fitters and plumbers and sheet metal workers to install these systems. And that facility itself has served its purpose to really help us develop a business model that allows us to do a lot more advanced manufacturing of these systems offsite as opposed to just building them on job sites. We've really benefited from the opportunity to build not only here in Lawrence on the University of Kansas campus, but in some of the related areas out west towards Topeka and out west towards Manhattan. And this particular company, U.S. Engineering Metalworks, as its reputation has grown for being able to perform at a very high level, we've continued to get more business. And we determined that we felt like it was going to be important for us to figure out how do we expand that. And we're extremely appreciative of the fact that the city and all of you worked with us over the course of the last few months and to develop an opportunity here in the Venture Park where we could actually build a facility that suited what our future needs were going to be. So I would like to highlight that. There's Metalworks. This is a little bit of a map of kind of how far Metalworks is shipping a lot of its fabrication right now. But I also just wanted to mention, as part of the company and certainly as a representative of the overall company, we're not just an organization that is focused on coming in and trying to figure out how we're going to be profitable. We have a very long history and a very long list of organizations that we're engaged with in order to be able to give back to the community, which is really part of what our soul is as an organization. And just one example that I wanted to bring up and also kind of thank the folks at KBC has been a very long relationship with the folks at KBZ. Those of you who are familiar with what they've done, not only for Douglas County but beyond, we ourselves have been engaged with them for the better part of 25 to 30 years through a give back program that we developed, and it's really created a lot of fantastic relationships, not only between us and the organization, but a lot of the other individuals who are involved in what the growth and expansion was when it was previously I think just Kaw Valley. So I think that in and of itself is a very big and important aspect of why we want to be here in Lawrence, not just because of the economic opportunity, but because we have a lot of these relationships that we've developed and also a lot of the history of what our work product is. So I want to know that, or I want you all to know how very appreciative we are of being able to work with you. And at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Brendan Riddle, who's our CFO, to talk a little bit more about the statistics and maybe some of the things that are relevant to what's going on in our catalyst application.
Thank you. Good evening, Commission members, Mayor Larson. I'd like to add to Mr. Notberg's presentation with some specific details about our employment expectations in this proposed facility. As you can see from this slide, we expect to open the facility in the very end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021. And at that point, expect a head count of approximately 80 folks, which is in line with our facility in Kansas City currently. We also expect over a period of 5 years to grow that headcount significantly to the tune of 75% to a total of 140 during that period of time. The folks that would be operating in the facility would be union pipe fitters, union plumbers, union sheet metal workers, and then non-union office team members. And from these general numbers displayed, I'd like to point out some specific details. With respect to the plumbers and pipe fitters on this list, in Kansas City, those folks are members of local unions 533 and 8, respectively. The plumber and pipe fitter union with jurisdiction in Lawrence is local union 441, which is a combined local union, meaning that both plumbers and pipe fitters operate out of the same union together. Due to union jurisdictional rules, our Lawrence facility generally will not be able to recruit plumbers and pipe fitters from Kansas City. So we expect most of these positions in Lawrence to be new and available to the local labor market. Additionally, with respect to the sheet metal workers listed on the slide, local sheet metal union 2 covers both Kansas City and Lawrence. So sheet metal team members from our Kansas City location may transfer to the new facility in Lawrence. We have no way to project those numbers currently, but a new Lawrence facility will create a new permanent sustained work location for these individuals, which will give them reason to spend money here and potentially invest in this community for long-term residency and other reasons. With respect to wage expectations, we have previously disclosed for these positions, we've previously disclosed to the state of Kansas an average wage number of $72,800. That's all in, all people. But that number is just a pure wage number. So what it does not include for our union folks, the pipe fitters, the plumbers, and the sheet metal workers, it does not include pension and health and welfare contributions, which are in the $30,000 to $50,000 range per year per employee, depending on the classification of the union team member involved. Nor does that $72,800 include for our non-union office team members typical benefits such as health care, 401k, college savings, etc. But for purposes of some example here, I did pull a little bit of more granular detail to try to put some of this into context. For Local 441, which again would be the union that the pipe fitters and plumbers would be operating out of in a Lawrence facility, there's various classes of union members within a given local, sort of an average, sort of a median rank of an individual would be called a journeyman or journey person. And they also, that classification also makes up a bulk of our membership typically. Journeymen in 441, and this is generally publicly available information, receive a base wage of $36.85 per hour, which annualizes out over the course of a year to $76,650. And then the company contributes to their union contributions an additional $37,315 for total value delivered on behalf of that employee of $113,000. For Local 2, which would represent the sheet metal workers in the shop, again, journeyman level individual, making up a bulk of our membership of sheet metal workers. Their base pay is $43.89 an hour. That annualizes out to $91,290, plus an additional $50,095 in contributions on their behalf to their union funds, for a total value delivered on behalf of those employees of $141,000 per year. Our office team members are not union. Their salaries aren't published like that publicly. They certainly would match the $72,800 basic standard that we described for the state for wages, and then have additional benefits and whatnot that I don't have broke out there. But they would fit into this general same sort of compensation structure. Lastly, just to point out a couple things with Local 441, because we've had relationships with 441 over the years. We've done work in Kansas and in Lawrence, but it's not been an anchor union for us with an anchor location per se. But currently there are about 125 people that typically work in the Lawrence area from Local 441. Those are plumbers and pipe fitters. We are proposing 60 positions, as you can see here on the slide, the 45 and 15. We're proposing 60 positions in Local 441 over the next 5 years, which is nearly a 50% increase in positions available for that union to fill. I'd also like to point out that in 2018, our organization was the largest employer in the entire Local 441 in the state, and we've had a strong relationship with that union for many years now. our partnership with Local 2, which we've operated with in Kansas City on the sheet metal side, spans literal decades and continues to be very strong. So I'm hopeful with some of these more specific details on compensation and wage, and our entire presentation's been helpful, and we certainly invite any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Leslie? No? Okay. Thank you.
Again, Mayor and Commissioners, I just wanted to briefly recap the Catalyst program. It is a prescriptive program where if certain thresholds are met, then the project becomes eligible for participation. In general, a Catalyst package will offer a 10-year, either 50% or 70% property tax abatement, 70% if the project is built to LEED Silver equivalency. It also can provide an IRB sales tax exemption on construction materials for the project. We offer no-cost city-owned business park land if the project happens to be in Lawrence Venture Park. And then we also waive the city application and IRB origination fees. Again, being a prescriptive and streamlined program, there are certain thresholds. The main thresholds are capital investment for the Catalyst program. There's a minimum of $5 million. As you can see, U.S. engineering well exceeds that at $15 million. Building size requires a minimum of 75,000 square feet. And again, this project will deliver 100,000 to 150,000 square feet. The project is located in Lawrence Venture Park on Block C, Lot 3, and that's where it's located on the map. So the incentive package would involve land at no cost. If you are valuing it at what the tax appraiser has valued it for the most recent year, it's a little over $669,000. The company will pay the Lawrence Venture Park special assessments on this parcel, and that is a little over $484,000. They also will be paying a portion of future benefits for a new district that will be created to help build out the cul-de-sac as well as bring water and sewer to the site. Again, they'll get a 10-year tax abatement at either the 50% or 70% level, an IRB sales tax exemption on their construction materials, and again, no city application or IRB origination fee. This project, staff feels, does meet some very strong benefits for our community and especially for economic development goals. It, first of all, expands our tax base. And then secondly, it brings the types of jobs and wages that we've been working very hard to bring to this park. One of the things I would like to reiterate that Diane Stoddard had mentioned last week is that we in Lawrence are part of a regional economy, and that's how most economic development plays out. It's also quite necessary that we become and we participate as a regional participant. And so one of the things I would like to also address is that our programs don't put geographic limitations on employment. And there's a good reason for that, because that would limit the labor pool and our competitive advantage when it comes to economic development. So the next steps is staff will work with our legal counsel to develop a development agreement. As I mentioned earlier, there will have to be a benefit district established to help build up the cul-de-sac in that property, as well as bring the water and sewer to the site. And then the project will also have to pursue a special use permit for their outdoor storage needs. And so at this point, I'd be happy to also stand for any questions.
Any questions? Rick?
Will you go back to the map? Probably this question is more for the applicant and for you, Britt, but I'm kind of curious about, will you be needing train access in the future? Is that what led you to pick that lot way in the back, or are you usually just using trucks to take stuff in and out? I'm just curious.
No, there will be there's no anticipated use for rail at this time. The reason for the site location really is because we've been very forthright with the city all along that we are going to need 10 to 12 acres of outside storage for finished product as well as materials. And that was about the furthest remote and out of the way site that we thought would work well for everyone.
I've just been curious over the years that, it's so close to rail that we really haven't had anyone take advantage of that. I find that very curious. Thank you.
Any other questions for Brett or the applicant? Okay. All right, open the public hearing.
I move we open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Soden, a second by Commissioner Boley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. So the public hearing is now open. Do you have any comments?
Dan Denenberg, 2702 University Drive. It's obvious that this is the kind of company we need in this town, and we need more of them. I kind of cringe when we have to offer incentives, but that's the world we live in these days. I hope this company can, and the union can find a way to maybe work with the Peasley Technical Center for training and upgrading their staff. And I also would suggest that the City Commission would get this company and other companies that have incentives, tax incentives, to find a way to work together on some kind of a community benefit package. We've all seen the disaster that happened with respect to homeless accommodations and services, and I think we need to find a really good way to deal with that on various levels: mental health, job training, maybe some volunteer repair work on homeless facilities. And we also need to investigate, this is kind of off the track, but what legal structures do we have to deal with this problem? But as I say, this is a kind of company that we need in this town, and I hope we can find some more.
Thank you, Dan. Any other public comment?
Hi, I'm Chris Flowers, and I just want to express my concerns. I'm okay with this, but as long as jobs are going to Lawrence residents, like my biggest concern is with like the Plan 2040 is that we're going to have affordable housing issues in the future, I think, and if a company opens up and they don't hire current residents, then that means we're going to be bringing in outsiders. And if we're already facing affordable housing issues, those outsiders are going to be competing with current residents. And if they're making good money, they're going to have more money to compete with against the established residents. But if they're offering jobs that go to Lawrence residents, I'm perfectly okay with that. I really don't know the whole situation, so I'm just asking that you guys do know what's going on, and if this is going to create jobs that go to Lawrence residents, that's my main concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Any other public comment on this item? No? Okay. Close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Boley, a second by Commissioner Herbert. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
I was curious about, is Peasley Tech something that you could perhaps work with in the future? Or, I don't know, maybe union rules spell out what kind of schools that people can go to?
Because we're a union contractor, the individuals that we would hire would come through the union apprenticeship programs.
Oh, I see.
Or metal trades or pre-apprenticeship programs that would come through. All of that being said, we have committed in a lot of different geographies where we do work to work with educational institutions and support institutions that are looking to build up technical skills all over. And in fact, one of the things that I'm very excited about is through some relationships at the University of Kansas being able to extend opportunities that we already do offer, but since we will have a permanent facility here, perhaps be able to work even closer, for example, with the engineering program at the University of Kansas, as well as some of the programs that exist at the high schools like Lawrence and Free State. And in addition, one of the things that we do that's quite unique is offer externship programs for teachers, high school teachers, as well as others that might be interested in applying, where there's an opportunity for them to come and be involved in what we're doing for a period of time. So we know that over the long term, workforce development issues are something that we need to focus on as a company, and that goes from pre-kindergarten all the way through various trade schools. Our focus happens to be on what our relationships with, for example, 441 and Local 2 might look like, but that doesn't mean that we kind of turn our eyes away from some of the other local educational institutions that are helping develop that.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I might just add that Rick Cillier is with the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters 441, who does have a seat on the Peasley board and represent that. And Dwayne Peasley himself was a member of that particular union, so they do have a very close relationship with Peasley.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, any other comments? I was glad to hear that the requirements for hiring local union out of the 441, that was something I didn't know before, so that was good to know that you got to hire from within our local union. I like that.
You know, last week I was kind of on a little soapbox about the shortage of skilled labor we have and the problems that it's caused for our city and our residents. And so, yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't support something tonight that clearly addresses a shortage of skilled labor in our community, and also I think speaks specifically to what our Catalyst program aims to do.
Yeah.
So thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah. I'm very pleased that the Catalyst program is being used in this way. I think it's excellent for the community. Appreciate you coming in, and you know, this is a big step forward for Venture Park. So thank you, and thank you to our economic development team too, Diane and Britt. Yeah, that's great.
Yep. Anything else?
I'm just very excited about it. You know, the Catalyst program we were talking about in that committee several years ago, the mayor, and it's nice to be using it. So
Yeah, it's nice to start to see some results from all that hard work that we've done in the past few years to get this program going, and just watch it actually work. This is really nice to see. It's been a couple of years, and we're glad for it. Thank you. Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
I move we adopt resolution number 7297, issuing industrial revenue bonds not to exceed $15 million and granting a 10-year 50% or 70% property tax abatement for Phase 1 and 2 development on Block C, Lot 3, in Lawrence Venture Park, and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute a development land transfer holding with USE Real Estate Holdings LLC / U.S. Engineering Metalworks.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Soden, a second by Commissioner Herbert. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, we're going to commission items. Is there any commissioner who has a future agenda item they want to add? Nope.
The recycling bin, high schooler people, are we going to have them work with the Sustainability Advisory Board first? I think that's a good first step.
Sounds like a good use of that commission.
Yep. Yep, that's good. Anything else on that item, number one? Okay, we'll go on to item number 2, which is future work session items. Anybody have any future work sessions they would like to add at this time? Nope. Okay, then we'll go on to just other miscellaneous items.
You know, I gotta say, I appreciate your speech today at the Senior Resource Center. It was a great event. That's probably the best attendance at a ribbon cutting in this town that I've seen in the years I've been doing this.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of happy people that the Senior Resource Center is back down there. So thank you for your words, and it's really wonderful to be, occupying that space in a very productive way. So, great.
And I would suggest anybody who hasn't had a chance to go down and see it, take a look, because it is amazing, the difference. It's just, it's beautiful on the inside. And they're still finishing some things up, but they've done a great job on the design on the inside. It's really cool.
I don't know if my item, it has to do with the city manager's report, so I'm not sure if I should bring it up now, number 6, or after.
Okay.
I'm
Do you want
not
to
sure.
wait? Just
Yeah, I can wait.
So no other items on that, so we'll move on to the city manager's report. So, what do we have, Craig?
Well, the first item, we did do very well, and I don't know if Dave wants to talk about it, but we did very well at a recent competition, kind of highlighting some great work by our staff, this team.
Yeah, I think, as we kind of noted in the report, I think the groups won the state competition 3 out of the last 4 years. It's been a variety of people, and I think while you've got a list of names there of people that kind of start in that, there's a lot of people behind that have helped them achieve that knowledge, and so I don't want to dismiss the others that contribute to what they've done. Not everybody wins a Golden Manhole Award. You think about the names, or a Crystal Crucible, or gets an opportunity to go to Orlando and keep the Lawrence name in front of the national spotlight when it comes to water and wastewaters. But I think we're really proud of them, and it's a team effort. Again, I want to emphasize that. But we're really proud of those individuals, so we wanted to recognize that accomplishment.
Thank you, Dave.
Other than
Anything
that,
else?
happy to have any question or comment on anything else.
Number 6, are we there now?
Yeah. We're there.
So I was noticing, of course, our last, or at least me and Matthew's last meeting, I think, is the 19th? Yeah. Well, the week before, we have the cultural plan update, and so it just seems kind of odd to have that presentation right before most of us leave. Maybe that's something better to wait until you have a new commission seated, that they might want to learn about that.
Okay, good idea.
I don't know if the other commissioners think so.
I think you got a good point.
Yep.
We'll bump it.
We can find something else. Yep, I'm sure.
There's always something else.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on the city manager's report? Okay. Move on to calendar. Anything we want to add? We got the breakfast, the Lawrence Schools Foundation breakfast this Friday morning at 7:30. Anything else we want to add? Or anything? I'll be going to that. I don't know if there's others.
I'll be going there.
So if there'll be 3 of us, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there as well, sorry.
Okay. Okay.
On the calendar?
It is on the calendar.
No, it is on
yeah.
the calendar.
We're
Just,
okay.
I was getting a head count of who's going.
Okay.
So at least 3 of us.
I just wanted to make a note of it if it wasn't on there. So we
Okay,
could get
no,
it
it's on there. Any other items we would like to add to it? I don't see anything coming up through at least into September. Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Commissioner Soden, a second by Commissioner Bowley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
What are we supposed to do now?
I know.